a world marked by persistent threats of violence, rape and homicide, the safety of women remains a critical concern. This sobering reality underscores the urgent need for collective action to address these pervasive challenges that women face. Coupled with this, the glaring absence of women in leadership positions further amplifies the need for a robust program dedicated to empowering and safeguarding women in all facets of life. The program is Women and Leadership on Canal the International. We'll be right back. Empowering women is essential for societal growth or progress by educating and ensuring they have everything necessary that has to do with their health, economic opportunities. We unlock their potential as catalysts for positive change, fostering inclusive growth and breaking the cycles of poverty. Embracing women's empowerment, it's a choice for building resilient and striving communities. You're watching the program Women and Leadership on Canal the International. If you have missed our past editions, you just need to go to YouTube, you type Canal the International, you type Women and Leadership, and you type the thematic of the day, and let the conversation begin. Welcome back. It's your program Women and Leadership, your transformative program, and it's time for us to know who our guests are. And I'll start with the person that is just by my right. She's called Ka Bane. She is a country director, International Human Rights Commission, Cameroon. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thanks. Thank you for inviting me on your program, Women and Leadership. Good afternoon to our televiewers. Good afternoon to every strong woman out there. Good afternoon to every political woman, every entrepreneur, every woman watching home and abroad.
Now, I was part of a program where you were equally part of it, talking about defenders of women defenders of human rights, and you're part of them. What are some of the challenges, because I know you go through hell, defending women out there, women defenders of human rights?
Yes, there are a lot of challenges, Madam Maureen. There are a lot of challenges that women human rights defenders experience.
Especially as a woman.
That is why I said women human rights defenders, because again, you know, it's women and leadership. Yes, there are a lot of challenges that women human rights defenders face. In Cameroon particularly, we first of all face all the general challenges that every other Cameroonian will face. And then we have other specific challenges that we encounter because we are first of all women. By reason of the fact that we are women, we go through gender-based discriminations, we go through attacks on our personality, attacks on family, we experience hostility from authorities, from community, we experience barriers on decision-making. Like, there are just so many of them, which I think will be developing.
All right, and I want the laws to be reinforced so that women defenders of human rights are protected in Cameroon. We talk about that. And we equally have Love Vera Epus Ekume. She is the president of the Cameroon Women's Entrepreneurs Network and equally director or CEO of a consultancy company. How are you doing today, Love?
I'm good. Thank you for inviting me. And I apologize, I want to speak in French because my English is not French.
It's not a problem, at least we are in a bilingual country, and I'll try my best to sometimes to come in French. Now, what is your organization? I know you're a member of SOCIETE.
Disons que l'association Cameroon Women Entrepreneurs Network, c'est une association de femmes entrepreneurs qui œuvre pour le développement de l'entrepreneuriat au Cameroun et pour adresser les questions de l'entrepreneuriat féminin spécifiquement, parce qu'il faut dire que clairement l'entrepreneuriat féminin a ses spécificités dans un environnement assez hostile comme celui du Cameroun. Donc nous sommes là, nous sommes sur le terrain pour porter les femmes, pour aider les femmes, pour accompagner les femmes à être la meilleure version d'elles-mêmes et à être de véritables entrepreneurs et de vrais leaders.
Thank you so much. You equally have Dr. Iris Mary Zinga, multiple awards winning speaker and entrepreneurship leadership author. She is a philanthropist. She is, she is wearing multiple caskets, and she's right here with us. Hope you're doing fine today, Doc.
Sure, I am. Thank you so much for having me on your platform. I am excited to be here today, and I just want to greet all the televiewers. And today we're talking on women and leadership. That is a very important topic, and I am honored to be speaking on that topic today.
Now, what are some of the obstacles to the growth of a woman? We're talking about investing, which is a thematic for this year, investing in a woman, accelerating our progress. But now, what are the obstacles linked to investing in a woman, and who should invest in a woman?
Okay, the primary obstacle will be the women themselves and the beginning of the women empowerment movement. For me, these are the two major obstacles that have to be readdressed or readjusted. We, in the beginning, when some years ago when I was growing, we heard about women empowerment. And I will never forget the slogan which says that what a man can do, a woman can do better. And it has been like a journey to try to show a man what you are up to. And that's the failure of the movement, because empowering a young woman is not to prove a point to anybody. It's so they can feel comfortable exploring all their gifts and talents and showcasing their worth to themselves first and the society. And the next one will be the woman, because I think that movement had really caused a lot of problems with women and young girls growing. So it's been some kind of trying to prove a point to somebody else, instead of trying to show what you've got and be the best in what you do. So those are the two.
But we would agree that a lot has evolved today in terms of empowerment of women. We'll talk about that. But before that, I want us to talk about the security, the environment in which women find themselves today. Are they secured? Because we have continuous violence against women, we have rape, we have killings. Do women feel secured in the environment where they find themselves?
When we talk about women being in security, of course, it's a question we will answer with a no. However, I want to say that lots of people, everybody, even men, also find themselves in situations of insecurity. I am mentioning this because we are on TV, the people watching us, and we want to avoid being misquoted that we are claiming only women face insecurity. There are lots of problems that men face, but because we are talking about women and leadership, we are going to focus on the women. So yes, women face lots of insecurity problems, and I would like us to look at this probably step by step. As a woman in politics, I'm the National Secretary of Human Rights, Justice and Peace for the Popular Action Party. I would want to say that as a politician already, it's a hell of a problem with my security. You know, I have to check the corners. Before you step out, before you go to work, you need to be on your phone, checking who is sending you messages. There is just lots of insecurity on the gender. Just being a woman makes you insecure because harassments come in every form. Psychologically, emotionally, job-wise, everywhere around a woman are indicators of insecurity when it comes to professional life, when it comes to gender, when it comes to being a defender of human rights or women's rights. When it even comes to being an entrepreneur, because like really, you start up a business, the way they handle your business as a woman is most times different from the way they handle the same business that is run by a man. So there are just many indicators of insecurity everywhere when it comes to be a woman.
All right, Dr. Reese, do you agree with her?
Yes, I agree with the point of insecurities when it comes to a woman, but I will still say something, because when we talk about actually even the jobs, let me be honest that women are mostly not good in most of the jobs they do. So you cannot expect the same kind of treatments and the same kind of attention and the same kind of results. When we talk about us growing up on the
does it mean that you're blaming women for not for being where they are today, or for not taking up to those responsibilities they have to take in life?
I blame women for not standing up to be the best of themselves. For example, when we grew up, our moms told us that women are to cook and to clean and to keep the environment great. But trust me, when you walk into a good restaurant, the best food wasn't cooked by a woman. The best chef was a man. So I'm asking a question. So what does a woman really do that can really, you know, showcase her differently? So when we talk about harassment, we're talking about, first of all, we talked about mental harassment or psychological harassment. That is inferiority complex being implanted in that woman. It's lack of self-empowerment. Because I cannot stand today in front of anyone who is doing what I do and I feel insecure or feel harassed if I have adequate knowledge of what I'm doing. You can fight good things. You can fight excellence. You can fight quality. Trust me, nobody can hide quality.
And we're in a society where there's a lot of violence, increase of violence on women, there's rape, there's killing. A lot, the phenomenon is
so that's what I'm coming to, because if we empower our girls as much as possible to be the best of themselves, they will not even get to a position where they get to a place where they can be raped or harassed. You will know how to draw the line. You know how to not be where you're not supposed to be and not wear what you're supposed to not be wearing. Because let's be honest, at some point, some of the rape issues were being provoked by the girls. I've had issues where they called me about rape. And I went inside to check what went on. I found out that what she wore in the man's room was inappropriate. So when we talk about rape and harassment, let's talk about the girls giving permission for things to happen to them.
So it means a lot of education that needs to be done.
A lot needs to
be done. On the girl child at the base, is that what I'm seeing? Kai's like she's not okay, but we come to you. I love Vera. The environment where we find ourselves, do we feel secured as a woman? Do you feel secured? When you get to know about violence here, rape here, killings, est-ce que la femme est en sécurité aujourd'hui dans la société où on est?
Alors, ce qu'il faut dire, c'est que, comme la panéliste, elle a dit, les femmes comme les hommes, nous sommes tous en insécurité. Nous sommes dans un environnement très hostile et du coup, quand on va parler par exemple du viol, à une certaine époque, ce que nous on savait ou ce qu'on entendait, c'était des viols sur les petites filles, mais aujourd'hui on entend des viols sur des petits garçons. Donc juste pour dire qu'aujourd'hui l'environnement est tellement en insécurité, on est tous en insécurité, qu'on ne peut plus dissocier l'insécurité de la femme de celle de l'homme. Mais ça, c'est encore à un certain niveau, parce qu'il faut reconnaître que la femme, dans sa constitution, dans sa présentation, dans sa représentation, elle est naturellement en insécurité. Elle est naturellement en insécurité tout simplement parce que sa morphologie fait en sorte que la personne qui est en face d'elle la voit autrement. Et ça se reflète dans tous les aspects de sa vie. Lorsqu'elle va au travail, qu'elle soit dans son véhicule ou pas, elle est en insécurité. Je vais vous raconter une petite histoire. Pour avoir, mon véhicule était en panne à une certaine époque et il n'y avait pas de climatiseur. Donc je roule les vitres baissées et arrivé à Ancien Dalip, là à quoi nous sommes garés, il y a un petit embouteillage et un monsieur se pointe avec une lame et me la pose là sur la main pour me dire donne tout ce que tu as, sinon ne me laisse pas te blesser, je ne veux pas te faire du mal. C'est juste pour dire qu'il y avait plusieurs personnes dans leur véhicule avec des vitres baissées, mais il s'est dirigé vers moi parce que justement je suis une femme et que naturellement j'aurais peur et que naturellement je ne vais pas forcément réagir. Alors, l'environnement, il est d'office hostile et d'office agressif. Mais d'un autre côté, je vais être d'accord avec l'autre panéliste pour dire que après, nous aussi, on doit pouvoir affronter cet environnement parce qu'on ne va pas vivre dans les airs. On va vivre sur terre et il faut s'y faire.
Now, what measures can be taken to address the safety of women?
Now, before I go to measures, you permit me.
Yeah, okay.
I want to say that when I hear my co-panelists talking about taking measures necessary to prevent rape and all of that, of course that is why we talk about women empowerment. Probably women empowerment has already been done they've set the train the wrong way by passing on probably the wrong information to women. But I also want to say that, and I want to
what
mention
wrong
that
information are we talking about here?
Sorry?
What wrong information are we talking about?
Like telling women that what a man can do, a woman can do better. That is why someone like me, I would advocate by telling women that you don't need to do better than a man.
Thank you.
Habilitate yourself to just be good at what you do. The reason why you have us three in here is because you believe that we are good at what we do. And we're not doing it because we're trying to prove anything to any man. Now, when we talk about the dressing of a lady and all of that. I think I would relate that more to moral decadence, which is something that should be educated to society as a whole. People do not have the right, whatever, to abuse a lady, to rape, be it a man or a woman. If we want to talk about dressing, then I want to start asking questions. So what happens when a young man rapes an old woman, or when a man rapes a baby? Can we really relate that kind of action to dressing, to nakedness? Yes, again, there are many young girls that find themselves at the wrong places. It is the insecurity we are talking about. If there are areas where young girls should not go, why can they not go there? Because they are girls. If you cannot walk on the streets comfortably at night, but there are men who can walk on that same street comfortably at night. So it all boils down to the insecurity we are talking about. I want to say, anybody out there who identifies or who knows that they are a rapist or a potential rapist, be careful, because you will not go off the hook by simple justification of the fact that she was poorly dressed and she enticed you. You know, now for measures that can be taken, permit me, for measures that can be taken to protect women, I want to start with I got some little notes here. Holistic approach to the protection of women. I mentioned here integrated security. Integrated security. We are mentioning that we live in a society where there is insecurity, but we can practice integrated security, which considers both the physical, the psychological, the emotional well-being of the woman. When we are setting rules for society, it should be rules, let law be law for everybody. You know, let law be law for everybody. Let the rule be a rule of thumb for everybody. Human rights defenders, therapists, counselors, we should have more of them who are apt, I will go back again to that word, who are well trained and are good at what they do, so that they can be able to better orientate and educate our female folk on how to be better with themselves, how to believe in themselves and be good at what they do.
Now, Dr. Aries, don't you think that cultural and societal norms equally contribute to the security challenges that women face today in society?
It contributes a lot, and that's why I keep saying, I said that we have to go back to education, because the culture and the society doesn't stop education from being education. One of the things that have really made a girl to be vulnerable is the education we give to girl child. We make them feel like they're fragile. Now you're talking about women leadership. This is wrong. That's a wrong statement. You can't say women leadership. Leadership is not gender. It's not a position. It's not a title. You can be in this poor community. You know, we empower you enough to be able to do things that are positively, you know, impacting your society and yourself. And that brings me back to still vulnerable to the harassment and all that happens around. You would not tell me now, she said in her case she was driving. That's a society where we are in. Everyone knows that if there's a particular position that you drive past, you have to be careful. When we are in the traffic and all that, there's guns, there are out things. They blocked me in the car with a knife. I don't think it's because I'm a woman. It's because they think, you know, whatever, it could happen, it happens to men. But we're talking about women. And then what I'm trying to say is this. We hear about the women because we are talkers, we are verbal. So we talk about the things that happens a lot. So people get to know that we suffer from this, that, and that. But at the end of the day, we women should take responsibilities, you know, of our actions. Let's be honest. You will not find a guy who will pick a girl on the street and just rape you. That's not our society. No boy is trained or raised as a rapist. I'm not supporting anyone to rape. I'm against it 100%. What I'm trying to say is that we should put more moral values in raising up our children, making our girl child to understand that you are as powerful as God have created you to be. You understand what I'm trying to say there? So you are trying to make the people understand that this society is supposed to be built by two people, a man and a woman, contributing their efforts to make it a good place to stay in. We're not trying to make you feel like because you're a woman, you're fragile, you're at this side, and you are the man, you are at this side. Let me quote an example. If you go to our village meetings, we're talking about society and culture. If you go to our village meetings, you will find out that we have the general meetings where the men are the leaders. And then you have the women's wing. And then you never have the men's wing. Because normally there should be a women's wing and a men's wing and a general wings where a woman too can be a president. You understand what I'm trying to say? So you find out that our society still have a lot of work to do as far as empowering our women to be able to speak out and stand out, you know, whatever they do.
Now, what are the solutions? Quelles sont les solutions? On parle de violence, c'est une mal qui s'enfonce. On parle de rape, talking of killings. If you look at statistics last year and even the beginning of this year, it's growing and it's a big challenge to women. Love.
Alors, ce qu'il faut dire, c'est que pour résoudre ce problème, ou alors pour apporter un début de solution à ce problème de violence, il faut le triptyque politique, citoyen et aussi loi. Quand je parle de politique, c'est pour évoquer les infrastructures. Nous vivons dans un environnement où, quand vous voulez sortir la nuit, il fait noir partout. Et dans la pénombre, vous aurez toute espèce d'insanité ou d'agressivité. Alors, si tout au moins on a des lumières, on a des rues éclairées, on a des caméras dans les rues, on sera plus ou moins à l'abri d'un certain nombre d'agressions. Ça, c'est une chose. Deuxième chose, c'est qu'il faut que les lois aillent dans le sens de la protection globale des citoyens. C'est très important. C'est peut-être assez facile de dire, oui, vous êtes libre, vous êtes égaux, mais il faut qu'il y ait des lois qui obligent même à dénoncer déjà. C'est-à-dire qu'avec derrière des actions qui vont pénaliser ceux qui ne dénoncent pas tout ce qu'il y a comme agressivité, comme viol, comme frustration autour d'eux. Je veux dire que c'est vrai qu'aujourd'hui, on a un peu l'impression que dans d'autres pays ou sous d'autres cieux, c'est un peu exagéré, mais même, je veux parler du harcèlement, même le harcèlement, c'est assez agressif mentalement. Donc si aujourd'hui, on n'est même pas capable de se rendre compte qu'on est en train de subir un harcèlement, c'est dire que nous ne sommes même pas éduqués à ça. Donc je suis partie du politique pour rentrer dans les lois, pour finir avec l'éducation. C'est-à-dire que ce triptyque-là, c'est ce qu'il faut pour que nous puissions arriver à amorcer des solutions.
All right, thank you so much. We equally talk to some women in the streets of Douala, how they feel secured in an environment where there is constant violence or continuous violence on women, rape, killings, and a lot more. And let's watch. We'll be right back.
About 60 women killed last year alone. The peak, 14 cases in April 2023. The alarm bell started ringing. The new inhumane behavior, femicide, the end result of gender-based violence, is rife in Cameroon, and something needs to be done.
But as at now, Cameroon does not have a very strong legal framework that actually sanctions in a very hard way any perpetrators of feminicide.
We have the family code that has been trailing in drawers for close to 20 years, which should be the woman's Bible. Yes, GBV in general should be penalized.
We are basing our work on what government started many years back so that we can contextualize it and have a specific law. Make sure that those who perpetrate violence are sanctioned according to that law.
Feminists believed it is possible to eradicate gender-based violence and femicide in Cameroon by changing the narrative of the people being sensitized.
If we bring up our young boys, men, to know that the woman next to them, maybe their sister, their daughter, they will not raise an arm. So it's a combined fight.
Girls and women are called to speak up and speak out to save their lives.
Don't stay in an abusive relationship. Tell it to your neighbor, tell it to a sister, cry out loud. But because of silence, because we'll say, what will people say? We don't do it. And we find out ourselves mourning our daughters.
If families could denounce perpetrators, if lawmakers could come up with serious laws to sanction these things, if everybody says no, please, ladies, speak up and speak out and save your lives. We prefer you alive than dead.
Many women have carried their secrets of abuse, pains, shame, and others to the grave. As the world celebrates the International Women's Day, High time to invest in women and accelerate their progress, and one of such is by ending gender-based violence.
Chantal Kambiwa has stepped into her new role as General Coordinator of Socialist International following her election during the organization's council meeting in Madrid, Spain, with an overwhelming majority vote of 51 out of 54. Kambiwa now shoulders the responsibility of addressing democratic challenges across continents.
The new vision brought by the new president, who is the Prime Minister of Spain, Pedro Sanchez, is to put everyone, each member of the presidium, to work. Everyone will have something to do, and that work will go through committees, that thematic committee to put in place. Just to put that committees in place in reality is a big task.
In a press briefing in Douala, Cameroon on March 6, 2024, Kambiwa emphasized the importance of empowering women as sentiment echoed in a long-lasting commitment to political activism.
That is what we put in place, the gender committee within the Socialist International. Women has many talents. The first thing is to empower those party members of the Socialist International to take care of this issue of women. When there is no peace, women also is the first person to suffer, and as a Cameroonian woman in that position, every time that there is a possibility to help to bring peace in my country, I will do so.
Chantal Kambiwa now stands as a symbol of pride for Cameroon, a fact experts argue should be duly recognized.
We are proud to have a lady at the helm of Socialist International, a Cameroonian who occupies the position of General Coordinator. We wish the state could recognize her effort in the political sphere.
Kambiwa's journey to this pivotal role is marked by nearly 25 years of membership in the organization, including her tenure as Vice President of the Women's Wing. Her elevation to General Coordinator underscores her remarkable contribution to the political landscape, symbolizing a beacon of pride for Cameroon. In Douala, as a mother leaves her home for work, she entrusts her child to the protection of God. This sentiment, born out of resignation and desperation, is shared by many parents who feel powerless in the face of the increasing incidence of child disappearances. We put our children in the hands of God because He is the only one that can protect our children. And when we leave them at home, they go to school. When they return from school, they are bound to stay with the older ones. Beyond relying solely on spirituality, preventing child disappearances requires open dialogue with children, experts have warned. It's imperative for parents to communicate openly with their children about safety measures and potential risks they may encounter.
Je dois d'abord remettre mes enfants entre les mains de Dieu.
I put my children in the hands of God because He protects. Advise women who send out small children to sell on the streets. That's how they are being kidnapped.
On peut kidnapper les enfants.
C'est seulement le suivi.
We simply need strict follow-up from school to home. Ensure their safety when they are out of campus. We need to also reinforce our spiritual life.
Le côté spirituel.
However, amidst this backdrop of fear and uncertainty, security sources reveal a troubling trend. Some cases of child disappearances are orchestrated by parents themselves as a means to push their partners. This type of disappearance, followed by domestic disputes, is alarming, more common than kidnappings for ransom. When Papa is out for work, what you should do is stay indoors. Don't cross the fence. In the wake of these revelations, communities are urged to remain vigilant and proactive in safeguarding their children. While faith may provide solace, it cannot replace the importance of communication awareness, and proactive measures to ensure the safety of our most vulnerable members.
Our next thematic is cracking the leadership code for women. And the first question I want to ask Dr. Reese, since she was talking about leadership a while ago, is there a particular leadership that is just for women? Because we have these thematic leadership or training women on leadership roles. Is there a particular leadership for women?
There is no particular leadership for women. Leadership is not gender-based. It's not a man's thing. Leadership is a leader who, first of all, who is a leader? A leader is someone who takes, the lead in achieving an iconic goal or results, So anybody can have a vision, anybody can have a goal and achieve it. So leadership does not, there is no side where we say this is for women and this is for men. I think that a
leader is a leader.
A leader is
if
a
you're
leader.
in a role, you play the role of a leader.
Yes.
Don't take yourself as a woman and a woman and no.
The moment you put a woman, you fragilize his leadership. So you should understand that a leader is someone who takes a lead in achieving something for the society or for the family or for whatever it is you're achieving to make a betterment of the people. That is leadership.
Now, how do you define leadership in the context? Let's put the woman in that aspect.
As in the context of a woman?
Of a woman.
Defining leadership in the context of a woman is...
We're undertaking leadership roles.
It's reconstructing leadership, first of all. Defining leadership in the context of a woman is reconstructing leadership. I will buy Dr. Reese's definition.
Okay.
So if we go by that definition, that leadership is not gender, then we should not be defining leadership in the context of a woman. We should talk about leadership for everybody.
Okay.
And by saying so, I want to say that women cannot be struggling to destroy a patriarchy by replacing it with matriarchy. Just work on yourself and be the best version of who you are for the good of society and for the good of yourself primarily. It's not about leadership in the context of a woman. It's not about feminine leadership. If this is even the topic of the program every Wednesday, maybe you should consider a change to that name.
Okay. All right, now since we're talking about a leadership, right, can we talk about a personal experience as a leader?
Avant de partir sur mon expérience personnelle, je voudrais rajouter un truc. C'est vrai, le leadership, il ne s'accommode pas du genre. Ça, c'est un fait. Mais il faut reconnaître que, en tant que femme, et compte tenu de la condition de la femme, que ce soit en Afrique, au Cameroun ou partout dans le monde, la condition elle est pratiquement la même. Donc les femmes ont besoin de leaders, c'est-à-dire des personnes qui peuvent se mettre devant et qu'elles vont pouvoir suivre. Et je pense que ici c'est un peu de ça qu'on veut parler, de dire est-ce qu'il y a un leadership qui permettrait aux femmes de s'identifier à d'autres, pour avancer et pour faire face à leur réalité. Voilà, donc je pense que oui, on peut parler de leadership féminin, mais c'est vrai que le leadership en lui-même, il ne s'accommoderait pas du genre. Mais dans notre contexte, on parlerait bien du leadership féminin pour permettre aux femmes de s'identifier et de pouvoir avancer et d'être des meilleures versions d'elles-mêmes. Alors, pour
Can you tell us about your leadership experience?
Alors,
especially in, where you were really instrumental in achieving or accelerating progress in your domain.
Alors, disons que je ne sais pas parler uniquement de mon domaine parce que moi, je suis assez transversale parce que c'est clair que pour être leader, il faut être transversal. Il faut être capable de s'affirmer, peu importe l'endroit, le domaine ou les conditions dans lesquelles on se trouve. Alors, personnellement, je suis d'abord une femme entrepreneur. J'ai pris mes marques toute seule. Je ne suis pas née dans une famille d'entrepreneurs. J'ai appris à devenir entrepreneur et je l'ai toujours voulu. Peut-être parce que on me taxait un peu de stubborn. On disait que j'étais têtue. Peut-être c'est ça qui m'a caractérisée et qui a permis que je sois ce que je suis aujourd'hui. Ça, c'est une chose. Maintenant, au-delà de mon entrepreneuriat, parce que je fais dans du consulting, j'ai une entreprise qui fait dans du consulting aux grandes entreprises, tout comme aux petites. Mais au-delà de ça, je me suis affiliée à une association et aujourd'hui, je suis présidente de cette association. Et pour vous dire, quand j'entrais dans cette association, mon objectif, c'était de devenir présidente pour poser des édifices ou
Means
alors
you identify
pour
yourself
construire.
already as a leader.
Oui.
Because that's what most women don't do. They see themselves behind, no, I can't do it.
Il faut dire que pour être un leader, comme nous l'avons tout dit, c'est d'avoir déjà une vision, de savoir exactement où on veut aller et de pouvoir mener les autres sur ce chemin-là. Donc du coup, si vous ne savez même pas où vous allez, alors tout chemin vous conduira nulle part.
Dr. Eris, I would like to have your experience as a leader, because I know you are a leader in so many organizations where you find yourself. Have you had challenging moments? What are the positive strengths that you had that has helped to push the organization or whatever sector you are on the name?
Okay, this is a very important question, because like my panelist just said, she said women need role models. It's different from defining leadership. And it will shock you to know that most women don't follow women. Most women follow men. let me make that. I'm going to come from my experience. So let me talk the experience of me being a pastor in a church that I founded. One of the things is that people understand that the church is something that is masculine. Of course, it's very powerful. It's so challenging. And you go out there, they say you're a female prophetess or you're a female apostle, a female stuff. So in my own experience, I have had more men who actually followed me and found themselves than I've had women. When women come close to you, they're coming for competition. They're coming to steal ideas and try to replicate what you're doing. It's difficult to really find women who understand what it means to have a mentor and follow. So in my experience, I have had more challenges with women than with men. My experience is kind of different. Why? Because when I started understanding that I have to be in the front line of leadership, one of the things that I did that I'm proud of myself is that I had to go back to get more training so that I will not just be just another leader, but someone who is well trained.
It means that you, at one point in your life you saw some challenging,
I saw the challenges that,
I said the only way you could overcome is by going for more training and try to see how you could handle. Let's get you.
And that is why you see I emphasize on saying that women are lazy. They should focus on solving the problems they have. Because there was a point in time in my life I saw that I wasn't efficient enough. I didn't have enough information. I didn't have the right tools to be able to lead anybody. So I had to pause and go back for more training. I know with John Maxwell, with 10Ed, with all the different schools I went to. All this was trying to acquire more knowledge to be able to stand and speak something that makes sense and be able to dictate what is wrong and try to fix it. And trust me, men are not orientated to follow things that we follow emotionally. They like knowledge. They like structure. They like plan. Women follow things emotionally. So when they come to me, they are disappointed because I'm not emotional. I think I've worked a lot with my emotional intelligence that I can do business with you 100%, even if you're my enemy. If there's money inside, I'm looking for the money, I'm not looking at your face. And that is a thing that I would say women are lacking. Women don't support women. Women fight women. Women tear down women. I would never remember any time in my life where when men talk about what I do, they appreciate it and they try to open ways. But when a woman sees that I am doing what they are doing, they just shy away from me and avoid me. I have had most of my setbacks have come from women than it has come from men.
And that's why we're here to change the narratives, because we want women to change mindsets. I know that the only support system you can have is a fellow woman. At least you learn from women. Women should be your role model. You should have a picture of a woman that is your role model. Now, Carl, can we have your own experience as a leader? You're the country director of a human rights organization. Now, how do you lead? Because I know you have men. I know there are challenging moments. There are moments you wanted to quit, but you're there.
In my specific responsibility as country director of the International Human Rights Commission, yes, there are more men. There are more men than women in the IHRC, especially at executive level. Most country directors are men, and elderly men, for that matter. And at country level, most of the executive members too are men. Men, again, who understand structure, who want to look at the facts. You know, they don't want to look at every other thing that we want to focus on. And which, growing up in a home, somehow I learned structure. And I learned that resilience that every growing child should learn, regardless of if you're boy or girl. And at my personal level, I just try to, as much as possible, learn all what I can learn.
But you have a role model, right?
I have lots of role models.
Okay.
Let me tell you,
I have a support system too.
I have
you have a
models.
network behind you.
I am glad to say my very first support system, which would very much refer to the person that, you know, encouraged me from start, was my mother. Unfortunately, many young Cameroonian girls or African girls don't have that kind of support system, again because of the culture, because of the way we grow up. But I have different role models for different things that I do. As a public speaker, I definitely look up to someone. As a politician, I look up to someone and all of that. And I mix up my role models, women and men, because I can learn a lot from women leaders that are ahead of me. I can learn a lot from men
the men too.
that are ahead of me.
Now, what strategies do you employ to foster a supportive and inclusive work environment for your dream?
Alors, ce qu'il faut dire, c'est que on ne peut pas faire sans la mixité. C'est-à-dire que peu importe où on se trouve, peu importe le domaine dans lequel on veut agir, on ne peut pas agir qu'avec les femmes ou alors qu'avec les hommes. Parce qu'on est dans un monde mixte. On est dans un monde où on a forcément besoin de quelqu'un, peu importe son genre. Donc, du coup, moi, ma stratégie, c'est de toujours me poser la question: qui peut m'aider à atteindre mes objectifs? Peu importe qui sera devant moi, j'irai vers la personne et je travaillerai avec la personne. N'oublions pas que l'essentiel étant d'atteindre ces objectifs. En quoi cela nous avancera-t-il de nous dire telle personne, c'est une femme, c'est ma concurrente, je n'irai pas vers elle parce que elle, je ne peux pas travailler avec elle comme elle est. Non. Qu'elle soit une femme, que ce soit une femme, que ce soit un homme.
If she's the right person to drive your dreams through,
exactly.
You just follow her behind, right?
Donc, chaque acte que nous posons doit avoir pour conséquence ou pour finalité l'atteinte de nos objectifs. La simple question à se poser: qui peut m'aider à atteindre mes objectifs?
Now, Doctor, how do you strike the balance between assertiveness and a collaboration in leadership?
I focus on my dream, I focus on my goals, I focus on what I want. When you know what you want, you really don't have time to waste with any other thing. As long as I know that this collaboration will enable me achieve my goals, I am ready to play the mature in a place where it's weak and to play the weak where it's too mature. Because we have two people, the two caliber of people we're going to meet in life. Those that are really mature, like she said, most of our colleagues are age. And that's what I mean on a daily basis. People who are way advanced, they may have little or no knowledge. I don't come to prove a point to these elderly people. I will be quiet and I will learn and I will pick something out of their experience. So I don't focus on what I focus on collaboration and I focus on achieving my goal. And if I find out that maybe you are not aged like that or weak, but there is still something everyone can offer. There's something I always say: everyone has something to give. Everyone has to. If we can just pay attention to our goals, because women oftentimes complain about the things that happen around them. It's because you don't have a goal. When you have a goal, you have a purpose. You are really driven by purpose. Trust me, you're using everything, every weapon that you're having as a woman is to achieve your goal.
Now let's look at the representation of women in leadership positions in Cameroon. Now, when you look at the number, the quota, look at general managers, you look at, we've never had any female governor. I mean, go to parliament, what's the quota? Can you react to that?
The quota of women in government is really low. I have been victim, I've fallen sometimes in this batch of women who just say, oh, the representation is too low, oh, this and that. But then, what's the mass of women in Cameroon? How many of them will stand up to support a fellow woman that is standing up to take a position? You know, like we don't expect to stand back against our own and expect the ones that we have been fighting to be the ones to push for us. Representation is low, that is very certain. That is very true. But why is it low? How many women even have the courage to stand up for certain positions in Cameroon? And the very few that build up that courage to stand for the positions, how many of us women really stand behind them to say, okay, for the simple fact that she's a woman like myself, I'm voting for her. We can
so women contribute to what we have today.
women in Cameroon.
The low representation of women, be it in politics, be in
from church to politics,
okay.
to every field, entrepreneurship. Yes. I have a restaurant in Yaoundé. Most of my clients are men, but there are more women in the streets. Most of the ones that will even come to the restaurant.
So women are not supporting women. Is that what you mean?
They don't.
Well, not so.
And they're not courageous enough to take.
40%.
Yes, they're very low.
Okay.
Yes, they're very low. Yeah. Personally, when I got my promotion as country director, most of the congrats I got were from men. Most of the women were like, how old is she? How did she manage to get there? What did she do? Who does she know? What's her family? Where does she come from? You know, like
so all these very critical,
interrogative questions that women will ask when it comes to another woman.
So what are the solutions, love?
Mais c'est la raison pour laquelle on parle toute d'éducation. Il faut que nous-mêmes on commence à changer nos
Est-ce que le problème ne vient pas de la femme elle-même?
Le problème vient de la femme parce que la femme est dans un environnement...
Parce qu'on parle tous les jours de leadership. Est-ce que les femmes ne se posent pas la question, am I the problem? Do an introspection.
On vient de dire quoi? La femme est la première à être contre l'autre femme. C'est clair que les femmes sont d'abord contre les femmes. La copanéliste, elle a dit quoi? Elle a été promue directrice et ce sont les hommes qui viennent...
Mais ce n'est pas dans tous les cas que les femmes sont contre.
Mais la
majorité des cas, ce sera ça. Parce que nous sommes toutes en train de nous mettre les peaux de banane parce qu'on veut que ce soit nous et pas les autres. Le véritable leader, en réalité, doit supporter l'autre, reconnaître les capacités de l'autre, porter l'autre. Et nous, en tant que femmes, je vais prendre le cas simplement des associations de femmes au Cameroun. Il y en a combien? Des milliers et des milliers. Tous les organismes internationaux ont du mal à se positionner ou à travailler parce que aujourd'hui on a telle association, demain c'est telle autre et après-demain. Qu'est-ce que cela nous coûte?
Les multiples associations de femmes posent aussi problème.
Oui. Qu'est-ce que c'est justement de la rivalité avec les mêmes objectifs. Qu'est-ce que cela nous coûte de nous asseoir, de poser les véritables problèmes sur la table et ensemble de trouver les véritables solutions?
Yes, Dr. Iris.
I would say that I think women are confused. I think we are really confused and we don't know what we want. Because everyone knows what they want except the woman. She talked about the multiple associations where we belong. Why would you be in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for one same message? It doesn't even make sense. So at the end of the day, a woman is a destroyer of another woman. That's the truth.
Now, what is the solution? Let's think through the solutions.
The solution right here is that women should really practice a lot of emotional intelligence. That's where the problem comes, because if we checked, let's go to the entrepreneurship side. Entrepreneurship side, statistics shows that it is more likely for women to be more entrepreneurs in Africa, which means that the women are
a lot of them are in the informal sector.
Yes, there are more entrepreneur women than men. However, when it comes to the money itself, there are few women with money. That is because men, they are not looking at this blah blah, but they are looking at what is going to make them men. So they can come 10 of them, 2 or 3 of them build a business or a company, and everybody put their stuff inside. And they don't care what happened, just ensure my money is safe. But when you bring these women come together, 1, 2, 3, 4, the next thing when they are angry, they get their money out. They don't care if the company is shut down, if you're losing everything, they don't care, they just want to leave. So you hardly find women coming together to build a company. You can never hear that there was this massive company here owned by 5, 2 or 3, 4 women. Because we don't even collaborate amongst ourselves. We don't trust ourselves. So the solution is that we should start trusting ourselves. Practice emotional intelligence. Learn how to strike a balance between your emotion and your profession, and keep the gender talk behind your back, because a profession is a profession. A medical doctor is a medical doctor. There is no female medical doctor. A politician, there is no female politician. They read the same mathematics, they read the same English language, the same geography. Everything was the same. So.
Okay, solutions?
A solution I would add to what my co-panelists have talked about already is, my dear gender activists, pass on the right message. Stop telling women that what a man can do, a woman can do better. That is not what you should be telling us. And to my dear women out there, there is a lot of problem of inferiority complex that all of us have experienced at one point in our lives. It is high time we stopped looking at where to put the blame and we started working on ourselves. work on your personal development, intellectually, emotionally, physically, however you can feel better for yourself, start doing so.
Thank you so much, love. Look at the camera. You have a few seconds to tell women what they need to know and what can be done so that they have a change of mindsets.
Ce que je peux dire à la femme entrepreneur et à la femme dans toute sa diversité, c'est que chacun ou chacune a quelque chose à apporter dans ce monde. Identifions juste ce que nous avons apporté, sans avoir à nous comparer à d'autres personnes, parce que nous sommes uniques en notre genre. Nous sommes certainement imparfaites, mais nous sommes parfaitement imparfaites. Et c'est en cela que nous allons ensemble construire ce monde.
Dr. Reese, look at the camera. You're telling a fellow woman out there watching you what she needs to hear and how it can transform her life.
Okay, I'll tell you, my fellow women, that you can accomplish any dream or anything that you admire if you work hard, if you get the right information, if you study. Even the Bible says that to study so you can show yourself approved. Ensure that you acquire adequate knowledge for whatever it is you're going in. Nobody is out there to entertain your emotions. They are out there to entertain your ideas that are constructive.
All right.
So go in and study.
Carl?
My
few
dear,
seconds.
My dear woman, you're queen, you're power, you're beautiful, you're great, you're everything you can think of becoming or everything you envy. And whatever you choose to become, whoever you choose to become, do it first for yourself and then for society. The only person you should be in competition with is yourself and not a man. So if you have to work hard for yourself and for the society you live in, because again, we are not islands. We're working for the betterment of Cameroon, for Africa, and for the world.
And thank you so much, ladies, for answering positively to my request to be as panelists for this edition of the program Women and Leadership on Canal International. If you watch, please don't miss the next edition. Thank you so much. Take another round of applause, same time, Wednesday. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.